The Dallas Mavericks are doing it again. And by it, I mean winning basketball games. But let me explain exactly what that means for the Dallas Mavericks and why it's such a big deal. Now, if you've been paying attention to the NBA lately, you've probably seen Luka Doncic absolutely tear it up on the court. And if you're a Mavericks fan, you've been loving every second of it. But what's even more exciting is that the Mavericks seem to be clicking again as a team, and they might just be on the verge of something big. So what exactly is going on with them this season? Are they looking at another potential finals run? Let's dive deep into the 2024-2025 season and why the Mavs might just be for real again. Last season, the Mavericks surprised everyone. They weren't expected to go that far, especially considering they only had about half a season to build chemistry with the addition of Kyrie Irving. But guess what? They defied the odds and made it all the way to the NBA Finals. Let me take you back to the 2023 playoffs. The Mavs, with Luka and Kyrie together, were firing on all cylinders. Luka was playing like an MVP, and Kyrie brought that scoring and leadership that the team had been missing. It was looking like this might be the team to take it all. But as we all know, the Mavs came up short in the finals against a stacked Celtics team. And that loss, well, it wasn't just the defense that couldn't keep up. It was the Mavs offense that couldn't consistently find a way to break through the Celtics defense. So, heading into this season, the big question was, can the Mavs fix those weaknesses? Can they build off their playoff run and make another push to the finals? Fast forward to the beginning of this season. Let's just say it wasn't pretty. After about 12 games, the Mavs were struggling. They were losing more than they were winning, and although some of those games were close, the losses were adding up. It didn't seem like the Mavericks were clicking like they did last season. But here's the kicker. Despite all those early struggles, the Mavs foundation was still there. And even though there were games where they lost by a small margin, it wasn't the end of the road for them. The thing is, we're talking about Dallas Mavericks basketball here. This is a team built to thrive under pressure, to shine when the lights are the brightest. So, could this just be a rough patch? Then came the Oklahoma City Thunder game. That one was the wake-up call. With just under 3 minutes left in the game and a 5-point deficit, the Mavericks were staring down the barrel. But then, something clicked. In the final 2:30 of the game, the Mavs put up 5 points in 30 seconds. That kind of clutch performance is what this team has been known for. They've got the star power to close out games, and in this moment, they were reminded of that. In that game, Luka wasn't even on the court for the full stretch, and yet the team showed they can pull out victories even when their superstar is sidelined. It was a huge mental reset for the squad, and they started rolling from there. After that win, the Mavs went on a tear. They've now won 11 of their last 12 games, and they've moved all the way up to third place in the Western Conference. A huge turnaround. This is the Mavericks we expected to see. Team basketball, gritty defense, and Luka and Kyrie leading the charge. But here's the real key to their success. It's not just about Luka and Kyrie. Sure, those two are the heart and soul of the team, but this season, the Mavericks have found success because other guys are stepping up, and they're doing it in a big way. In the offseason, the Mavs lost Derrick Jones Jr., a key perimeter defender who was crucial for them last season. That was a blow to the roster, no doubt. But in stepped Quentin Grimes and Naji Marshall, two players who have exceeded expectations and brought a ton of value to the team. Let's talk about Naji Marshall. Since stepping into the starting lineup, Naji has been averaging around 17 points per game. He's been all over the court, contributing offensively and playing solid defense. In fact, he's become one of the team's best two-way players. You don't just put up those numbers without making an impact on both sides of the floor. His scoring ability has given the Mavs an extra punch, which is something they needed. Then there's Quentin Grimes, who's been averaging 15 points per game and playing exceptional defense. His ability to knock down shots while also shutting down opposing wings has been huge for the Mavs. We've seen it in several games, like when he made a clutch steal against Jose Alvarado and locked up Brandon Ingram in one-on-one coverage. Grimes and Marshall have been great replacements for Jones Jr. and have given the Mavs an even stronger perimeter defense. This is what's been making the Mavericks a more complete team. They've got the offensive firepower from Luka and Kyrie. And now they've got defensive stalwarts on the wings to stop the other teams from going off. If there's one area the Mavericks have really grown in this season, it's defense. We all know Luka and Kyrie can score, but if you want to win championships, you need to lock down on defense. And that's exactly what's been happening. The Mavs are looking like a different beast defensively, and a lot of that has to do with the work their big men are putting in. Derek Lively, in particular, has been a revelation. This dude's a force in the paint. Let me take you through one of his most impressive plays. So far this season, against the San Antonio Spurs, Lively was matched up with Zach Collins. Now, Collins is no slouch, but Lively didn't bite on the fake, kept his hands up, and blocked the shot with authority. That's the kind of defense the Mavs need to make a deep run. It's not just the big men, though. The perimeter defense has been insane. Grimes and Marshall have been wreaking havoc on opposing wings, making it difficult for teams to get easy buckets. We've seen them break up passing lanes, force turnovers, and contest shots without fouling. Here's the thing. Last season, the Mavericks thrived in clutch time. We saw it all over the playoffs. Luka and Kyrie were taking over late in games, pulling off game winners, and helping the team close out tight contests. But at the start of this season, it looked like that clutch magic had disappeared. But once again, the Mavs were reminded of who they are. That Thunder game wasn't just a turning point for their winning streak. It was a reminder that this team still has that closing ability. Luka and Kyrie are still two of the best closers in the NBA. When the game is on the line, you want those two with the ball in their hands. And this season, they've been delivering. Whether it's Luka pulling up from deep or Kyrie breaking down defenses with his handles and finishing around the rim, these two have kept the Mavs in games and have won them games when it matters most. Let's talk about the Mavericks offense for a second. One thing that's been really fun to watch this season is how Luka and Kyrie have been involving their big men in the offense. We've seen some insane alley-oops this year, and it's no accident. When Luka and Kyrie are creating for others, it opens up so much more for the offense. Take the game against the Thunder, for example. Luka came off a screen from Maxi Kleber, drew in two defenders, and tossed up a lob for Daniel Gafford, who finished with a monster dunk. That's the kind of playmaking that makes the Mavericks so dangerous. They can beat you with their stars, but they can also beat you with their bigs when they're running the floor and finishing lobs. These types of plays are becoming a staple in the Mavericks offense, and it's a big reason why they've been able to outlast teams in close games. With all these improvements, the defense, the role players stepping up, and the clutch performances, it's hard not to get excited about the Mavericks' potential. They're showing they can win in every type of game. Blowouts, close games, games without Luka, games without Kyrie. It's all clicking. But here's the real question. Can the Mavericks make a push for the finals again? The road to the finals is never easy, especially in a stacked Western Conference. You've got teams like the Nuggets, Warriors, and Suns that will all be fighting for that top spot. But I think the Mavericks can hang with anyone. If Luka stays healthy and the role players keep stepping up, this team could make it back to the finals. They've got the right mix of veteran leadership and young talent to make a deep run. The Dallas Mavericks are for real. This isn't just some flash-in-the-pan start to the season. They've got the pieces to go all the way. They've got Luka, they've got Kyrie, and they've got a supporting cast that's starting to come together. If they can keep this momentum rolling, don't be surprised if you see them make another finals appearance. But what do you think? Are the Mavs the real deal this season? Can they make a run at the championship? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you next time.